Today's Midday Kentucky Cooking segment brought to you by Creative Kitchen and Bath, where you will always cook in style.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Midday Kentucky. Come on the set, Miss Chef Allison Davis.
Good morning.
Of course, I'm here with Chef Allison Davis. I think I'm cooking some meat today. Probably one of my favourite things to eat, but I know I don't eat enough of it.
Well, that's not true. We're cooking steak, so red meat.
No, I know I don't eat enough of it.
But red meat, you really don't want to eat too much. I would say like maybe 1 or 2 nights a week at the most.
I probably eat it once a month.
Well, that's still fine because, you know, steak is heavy. Steak is hearty.
You know what my favourite meal is?
I have to be in a good mood for a steak.
Yeah.
I don't want to just skimp. When I'm ready for a steak, I'm ready for a good one.
All right.
You know?
You go to Tony's, you get the
Tony.
cream spinach, you get a slab of the meat, and a good glass of red wine, and I'm done.
Yeah, that
Agreed?
sounds like heaven. It sure does.
Perfect.
All right, well, no, there's nothing like steak and potatoes for dinner, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going with some sweet potatoes. Got a little butter here in the pan. We're going to go in with a little bit of garlic. And we're just sauteing up the sweet potatoes, kind of browning in the butter, softening them up a bit. And then we're going to be cooking our steak, okay, in the same pan. So this is just like a skillet supper dinner where you've got your potatoes, steak, everything kind of going in the same pot. So we're just going to cook our sweet potatoes first.
Yep.
And then steak. We're going to talk about the perfectly seared steak today, okay, people? First thing that I always encourage when you're cooking steak, either on the stove or on the grill, is let it sit out, let it come to room temperature, because you will shock it and it gets a little tougher on the exterior, in my opinion, if you just take it right out of the fridge and right to a hot skillet, okay? The next step that I like to do with my steak is what I have going on here, is I will salt it and let it sit. So what happens when you add salt to like zucchini?
Pulls out the water.
It does. So the same thing here, it's going to pull that moisture to the surface. And then what happens well, what happens when salt gets into water?
What am I, a biology class?
I know.
It
dissolves.
Oh.
Oh, I love him.
Makes
salt,
it crispy.
when you add salt to water, though, it dissolves, right? So when the water comes up to the surface, the salt kind of dissolves and gets back into the meat. So it's a way to season the meat from the inside.
You're purposely trying to make me look stupid.
I am not.
It's not hard, everyone.
All right, once you flip those over, and we're going to do salt on the other side.
All right, I'll salt them.
And then instead of steak au poivre, which is just peppercorn, sometimes you don't have a pepper grinder. I pick this this blend up, and I have to say I'm a big fan of this. And I would almost like pack it in. So it's going to give us a really nice crust when we go to sear this on the stove.
Oh, I like that idea. I like
this has garlic, this has pepper, this has, look at us.
You right there, Dove?
No, just spices, peppers, garlic, red pepper flake, and it's really coarse, which is what I like about it.
Do you like peppered steak?
I do.
Yeah,
That's actually, you were mentioning Tony's, and he came up to me at one of the, whenever I was eating there, and I got the New York strip, the au poivre, and he said that was absolutely his favorite way to enjoy the steak. It really is, because it doesn't take away, and you can enjoy the steak, but it just enhances the flavor. So, all right, I took the sweet potatoes out, and now we're going to focus on searing. I had some already minced.
I thought we were going to shove it in the meat.
No,
That's why I took it out.
I just used it to actually season the pan a bit. So I'm using butter, and I want to talk a little bit just quick about the butter. Kerrygold butter is my preference, okay? It's that Irish butter, it's grass-fed, it melts well, and the flavor is just hard to beat in terms of butter. And it's going to be rich. This is, I mean, if you've ever had butter on a steak at a steakhouse, that's the way to go. All right, he is all about the garlic today, people. All right.
You know what you told me to do?
No.
Dice the garlic up?
No, I said we already had some, and we used it earlier.
Sugar.
All right, take that steak, and we're going to lay those down. I have our...
Which way?
It really doesn't matter, because you're going to lay it down. Third step with my perfectly seared steak. Let it sit, let it cook. I believe in the one flip.
What's that ABC song?
I don't know.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah,
ABC.
let it go.
Yeah, Disney.
Let it
Just
sit,
let it cook. Let it cook. And then we're going to do one flip. We're going to let this go to about a medium rare. We're going to add our potatoes back in. We're going to plate this up and show you guys in just a minute.
If you want to see this recipe, head over to WTVQ.com/Midday Kentucky. Click on the What tab.
Recipes tab.
That's it. Chef Allison Davis on Instagram. Back after this short break.